1v1 on Crossing in the Woods. This game is Sombrabrz versus 18672110121. I'm going to refer to him as Numbers for the rest of this game.
This territory is ours.
Combat engineers making their way through the strategic points. Right outside the base. Thank you for following. As usual. And we have Folks Grenadiers grabbing the strategic point while Stern Pioneers make their way to the munitions point. We have double conscripts start from Numbers, and we have Folks Grenadiers making their way, or double Folks Grenadiers start from Sombrabrz. Stern Pioneers making their way left, Folks Grenadiers going right. The combat engineers making their way for the victory point, conscripts going hard left. So the Soviets going to be focusing entirely on his half of the river, whereas looks like Oberkommando West player kind of splitting his forces in both directions, and we'll see if he can experience any success doing that. He should be able to take the right side, largely unopposed, and he's sending his second Folks Grenadier squad south, since he kind of is getting the sense that that's where they're going to be needed, encountering a squad of conscripts there. Combat engineers are circling past the victory point and now going for the
Contact with the enemy.
munitions point.
We are taking losses. This now belongs to the people and workers of the Soviet Union.
Conscripts should be able to win against these Stern Pioneers, even at this range, and even without cover. Folks Grenadiers moving up to support may be able to turn the tide in their favor, but there's way too many. He's brought his entire army here, all three of his opening conscripts, and there's still a Folks Grenadier squad on the right, so very possible that this mass of conscripts will be able to... Oh, maybe not! A Kubel wagon! Very nice choice, considering what his opponent is doing. Completely shuts that blobbing down, and the conscripts will all be immediately forced to retreat. Normally, you don't always see a Kubel wagon. It's not as popular as it once was because of its fuel costs. It's not quite as powerful as it used to be, but you do still see it sometimes. I feel like it might be more useful against U.S. forces, but in this instance, it certainly paid off. And it looks like he has convinced his opponent to go Special Rifle Command by purchasing that Kubel wagon, so he might even consider going with a flak half-track next. But I don't know, we'll see what he chooses to do. Most people already have a build in mind before the game starts. I would be surprised if he reacted to his opponent's Tier 1 decision after the fact, but hopefully we'll see something like that. Stern Pioneers moving across the left and taking control.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Not taking control of anything, just taking up position behind this cart. Meanwhile, Folks Grenadiers remain unopposed on the right side.
Armored car has reported for duty. The enemy has nowhere to hide.
And it looks like we have a pretty big cutoff maneuver going here for the Oberkommando West. Cutoff. The SWS has not set up yet. It's going to have to reposition a little bit to safety. Meanwhile, the M3 is on its way. No Panzerschreck upgrade yet. He has not even purchased one, although he... Oh no, he couldn't have because he hasn't teched up yet. But his Kubel is dealing massive damage to that thing at range, and it's going to get forced away. Might even go down here if that Kubel chases. It could come down to it getting stuck on some various piece of terrain, but it looks like it made a clean getaway. Penal Battalion is on its way forward now too. The SWS still has not... Oh, yes it has. And he is purchasing mechanized regiments, so he is going to hard counter his opponent's build. He sees... the M3 sees the Penal Battalion, he knows he's Tier 1, and he's going to react to that, but unfortunately there are two squads of conscripts here, and he does see it setting up. 3 squads of conscripts! Why is he shooting at the Folks Grenadiers? He could easily stop this from happening, and I don't think there's anything Sombrabrz is going to be able to do about it. He has nothing nearby that can stop this truck from being destroyed. He really needs to close into shorter range, though. In fact, I'm not sure it's going to matter. It's at half already. Conscripts continue to unload damage. I think it could be close. I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh, that burst really did it and sends it over the edge. Very close to setting that up, but nice play by the conscripts making the cutoff. He should not have tried to set his truck up in that location. All he had to do was build it in his base. If he had just built it in his base, it would have been fine, but he built it there. Like, why? What was he thinking? Building a truck in an unsafe location while 3 squads of conscripts are unaccounted for is just asking for disaster. And now the conscripts that are harassing up here are going to cut off the second strategic point by the OKW base and cut off all resource income. What a huge turn of events for the sequence of numbers person. Huge turn of events. That is going to rocket things into his favor. His opponent has no way of purchasing Panzerschrecks to counter his M3. And it looks like this Soviet is not playing the map control game at all. Instead, just focusing on key objectives like taking out the SWS half-track and Kubel. And it's, I don't know, I guess we'll see if it pays off. M3 is trying to circle strafe the Kubel wagon, but he couldn't get enough damage on those infantry in the process to force a retreat, and he's going to have to pull back for repairs again. Penal Battalion is trying to focus down the Kubel, but it's not working at this distance. Uh-oh. I'm not sure he's paying attention to this. Notice this! He just gave his opponent a free squad wipe. Not something you really want to do when you've got the advantage. You don't want to lose it. I think that's the first squad wipe of the game, but the M3 does take out the Kubel wagon, so pretty fair trade all in all.
Shock troops awaiting deployment.
Shock troops have hit the field and are making their way across the left. They're going to be a big problem. Now that there is no flak half-track coming, Kubel wagon is dead. There's no way to suppress them. Some might consider going fortifications and throwing some MGs out to try and keep them under control, but they can only do so much because of course, smoke grenades, regular grenades. Very dangerous to all team weapons, very dangerous to all forms of infantry. Smoke grenade goes down. He had right-clicked on the shock troops. Have to be careful about doing that because if they lose vision of them, they'll charge them. So, what is he doing? He needs to keep his distance from that squad. It is a very dangerous squad. Looks like he's going to charge into close range. He does not have the munitions for a grenade toss into the building, but he's dealing massive damage to this Volksgrenadier squad. Is forced to retreat. These 3 squads moving up, however, will be sufficient to force it away. After taking 2 losses, he does have the field infirmary upgraded, so we'll be able to utilize that to heal the shock troops. Meanwhile, harassment of the right side begins. Conscripts making their way towards the munitions and fuel, following up with the victory point and strategic points after that. Meanwhile, the M3 has been repaired, making its way forward with a flamethrower squad inside, and again, no Panzerschrecks because he has not been able to tech up. Finally, a mechanized regiment headquarters is being constructed again, this one in a slightly safer location. Looks like he learned from his mistakes, not going to let that happen again. The M3 was not able to do much over here before being forced back for a few more repairs, while penal battalions take the fuel. Shock troops getting reinforced here in the base. Shock troops making their way forward, and they're gonna, I don't know, grenade going out. This could be bad. He noticed it in time, but oh, massive damage inflicted. He couldn't dodge. All the troops kind of got stuck on each other around the corner. Oh no, the M3 with the flamethrower inside looks like it wants to chase. Fortunately, it's having pathing problems, and it could not, it couldn't quite finish anything off. So instead, it's just going to go in on this Volksgrenadier squad in the house. Meanwhile, on the right side, conscripts will easily win that engagement if no grenade gets tossed. Although a second squad of Volksgrenadiers making its way did force a conscript squad there to retreat. Grenade does get tossed and turns the tide in favor of the Volksgrenadiers. Looks like those conscripts will get wiped if it doesn't retreat. Meanwhile, however, a flak half-track just hit the field over here. Oh, it needs to set up though. Set up, set up, set up. Its turret needs to rotate all the way around, but Overdrive is proving not to do a whole lot. Overdrive apparently cannot quite compensate for the fact that pathing in this game sometimes does weird stuff. I don't know what that M3 was attempting there, but it didn't work. M3 goes down, Penal Battalion forced to retreat. Fortunately, the flamethrower does not get wiped. The M3 actually fell quite low just from the M3's 50 or whatever caliber gun, and it will be pulled back.
Conscripts can now attack tanks with AT grenades.
To get some repairs, and the conscript squad that was over here got wiped, I think. Yeah, that he wasn't paying attention. So that's not good. He now only has one conscript squad remaining. Buddy has fielded a fresh set of shock troops, going to catch these Folks Grenadiers in the middle of their retreat path, but he didn't really chase. I think he could have inflicted some pretty heavy damage there if he had microed that a little differently, but whatever. He does force the retreat and will take control of some territory. He actually thinks it's more important to deny this point to his opponent than to capture this one, although it looks like the flag half-track is going to get here before he can do much of anything. He's just kind of hiding out for now. He still has to tech to tier 3. It's going up now. He still has another several minutes before his T-34 arrives to offer him some relief from this flag half-track, which is already vet 1 with 7 kills. And here's something that's... Ooh. Wow, I'm surprised that squad survived that. I thought that was a wipe for sure. Oh, sniped! Sniped at, like, medium range by shock troops. That's red cover for you. That received accuracy bonus. Or penalty, rather. More infantry making their way across the river over here. Wow, these careless squad wipes by both sides are making this game tough to call. Conscripts randomly going down, Folks Grenadiers randomly going down. But you really have to throw grenades and pray that your opponent's not paying attention sometimes to make a comeback. Penal Battalion. Oh no, what's happening over here? Pay attention, what are you doing? Oh, I don't know if he's gonna get away. That is really low health. Fortunately, it wasted a lot of that burst on conscripts, so it looks like it could survive. Barely. Barely gets away.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Penal Battalion and shock troops got forced away on the left as well. Some reinforcement and healing happening. Sombrabrz went elite armor
The enemy has taken
for
our
some
supply
reason.
sector.
So that's interesting. That gives him access to emergency repairs for this thing, which is honestly probably one of the worst abilities Over Commando West could possibly have. Very vulnerable during this repair procedure. Vehicle is immobile and weapons are inactive.
At our disposal.
And 50 munitions. For an already munition-starved faction that already has Stern Pioneers that can repair extremely fast. I don't know. That is a terrible ability. That's useless. This one's actually not bad. If your opponent has vehicles, which his opponent doesn't. It also costs 50 munitions. So, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see if he can make good use of it this game. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. It won't be the first time I've been proven wrong in a cast, and we'll see. We'll see if he can make it work. Black half-track moves over here to deal with these combat engineers. I'm not sure if he saw that mine getting planted, although he... Oh! That mine definitely backfired. Ouch. That was probably not the way he envisioned that mine exploding. That is a shame. Wow. Okay. Yet another unforeseen squad wipe for the Soviet player. He has quite a hefty blob making its way across the left. Flak half-track is repositioned to the right to defend, and the attempts here to finally get this back under control. He needs to retake his cutoff, get the victory point taken again. These Folks Grenadiers probably can't win this. Penal Battalion with a flamethrower is going to win at medium range. Shock troops will win at short range. The house certainly will not be that safe with grenades and flames and stuff. Nice use of the smoke grenade. He's going to use that to close the gap. Doesn't even bother with that. Volksgrenadier squad retreats immediately. The flag half-track is being deployed over there as quickly as possible, but it's going to stop to engage a squad of conscripts. Of course, if he just drives right by that, he could potentially leave himself vulnerable to an AT grenade, so he's got to deal with that first. Grenade going off! Doesn't do much, only 2 models wipe. Counter grenade here. Oh, 3 shock troops taken out, but no squad wipe. It's up to this 1 penal battalion to win this engagement. Could be very difficult with that Stern Pioneer squad there, though, trying to burst them down. No lucky flame crits, and he is forced to retreat. Engagement just wouldn't go in his favor. If he had dodged that grenade, he would have won that, but he was just too inattentive. What happened here? What? What happened over here? Why is there a Panzerschreck laying on the ground? Apparently another Volksgrenadier squad just went down. Wow, fighting on 2 fronts, and it's just not working for either of them. There are squad wipes and grenades and stuff just left and right. That is a huge loss for the Oberkommando West, giving a Panzerschreck to his opponent at the most inopportune of times. Especially considering he went elite armor, Panzer IVs are going to get torn up by that Panzerschreck if it comes to that. Sombrabrz is floating manpower like crazy. He really needs to build something. It looks like he's not going to take to anything. He is saving all of his fuel for that Panzer IV column. I can already tell he would have built one of these structures by now if he was going to, so I think he just has no intention of doing so. But if that's his strategy, giving his opponent a Panzerschreck is certainly not a very good start, and losing that Panzerschreck isn't going to help him against the T-34 that just hit the field. This T-34 is definitely going to be a huge problem for the flak half-track. It's Vet 2. It does have access to concealing smoke. That'll be something. He really needs to throw out a Raketenwerfer, though, or get some more emergency Shreks here. The fact that he's had fuel transfer on this whole time is really hurting his AT. It's really dangerous to turn on fuel transfer without purchasing like 2 or 3 Raketenwerfers just as a backup plan, because you have nothing unless he wants to bridge the gap with a Puma, which normally I would say is a bad idea, but I just streamed a game where apparently Pumas are the counter to T-34s, so that could help. It could help. One Panzerschreck though, that is not enough. He needs something. He doesn't know the T-34 is coming. He sees shock troops. He might think that his opponent is going to rush an IS-2, and therefore he thinks he has some time, although not really, since he's already got the command points for the IS-2. He's kind of lucky that his opponent teched up and there's a T-34 here instead of IS-2, but that aside, T-34 catches the flak half-track out of position. 2 shots connect. Gonna go down. There's no saving it. The concealing smoke is not of any help in this situation. There it goes. Thank you, of course, for the follows. As usual, Panzerschreck is not able to do enough. It's actually, I mean, it's doing good damage for sure. If only he'd had a Raketenwerfer. 1 Raketenwerfer. Who knows how that engagement might have gone differently. Here on the left side, some stuff is dying. Forced to retreat. Volksgrenadiers forcing everything away. Oh, but the Panzer IVs just hit the field. The Panzer-Schrecked up conscripts are available nearby to support the T-34. The Panzer IVs are going in hard. He doesn't really have the munitions to upgrade them. That is yet another one of the dangers of fuel transfer. And one of the problems with elite armor is that if you do... Wait, what? Okay. I guess the Soviet player surrendered. Oh, see, there it is. There, yeah, he surrendered. Or he quit. He dropped. Maybe this only shows up if the person drops, not if they surrender. That would explain that. Well, okay. OKW wins. Elite Armor wins! But that doesn't make any sense. Maybe his internet connection just cut out, because he just killed that flak half-track. I mean, he was losing, but his opponent went Elite Armor. He's going to have IS-2s eventually. I think he should have fought that out. I don't know, maybe he just dropped. Oh well, GG. Elite Armor wins.